In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can keep your players engaged between your sessions. Hey guys, welcome back to Syndicate's Ethereum. My name is Dylan, your guide here through the Ethereum. If this is your first adventure here and you want to follow Syndicate and I on our journey as we provide you with better Dungeon Master tips or player tips, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and also hit the bell icon so that you can stay up to date with both of us. So in this video, I want to tell you how you can keep your players engaged between your D&D sessions or whatever role-playing game it is that you're playing. And I'm not talking about downtime, I'm not talking about mini adventures or side adventures, I'm talking about something that I like to call a FLAIR. I'm not talking about the FLAIR that you pop off in the air whenever you're trying to get some help. No, I'm talking about the other kind of FLAIR. A FLAIR is also defined as stylishness or originality. But what these FLAIRs are little short stories that I write for my players, and I give these FLAIRs to my players between sessions so that they have something to read and keep them engaged, keep them wondering about the world, wondering about the lore, and get them ready for the next session. So some of you may be asking, well, I don't really know what to write a FLAIR about or a little short story. There are a multitude of different things you can use, and if you just look through your world, look through your game, you can find plenty of things. For example, NPCs, their origin stories, or how they came to be, or what they thought of after the characters talked to them, or before, or what brought them to the characters. You can talk about your bad guys. You can talk about the aftermath of some sort of battle or something happening in your world. Just how are the people that live there on a day-to-day dealing with whatever it is that's going on. Wait, you can write FLAIRs about bad guys? Yeah, just like in a movie where you're watching a movie and the scene changes from the players and goes over to the villains and kind of shows what's going on there, what they're scheming, what they're planning, who are they involved with, who they're talking to and sending out to do whatever kind of mischievous deeds it is that they're doing. Yeah, write a FLAIR about that. It'd be awesome. And you know what? You don't have to worry about your players finding out this cryptic knowledge that they're not supposed to find out until their level whatever. These FLAIRs are for your players, and your players will have no way of transferring this knowledge into their character knowledge. It's going to be fine. And you know what? If you have a FLAIR that you write and your players don't really understand what's going on, go ahead and explain it to them. Again, these are for your players. Like, you're just trying to shed some light on the lore and things that may never come up in game. Don't be afraid to tell them what kind of point you're trying to come across with this FLAIR when you're talking about these characters or whatever. One thing I forgot to mention too is that as Dungeon Masters, especially if you're centered around homebrew, it's so easy to want to explain everything to your players, like when you're starting a session off and you have all of this dialogue that you're front-loading the session with, and some players may be interested in that and find joy in learning about the world and how everything connects with everything else. Some players may just be like, well, I really just came here to play my character. I don't really care about all this noodly stuff. The FLAIRs are a good way to kind of show and tell at the same time. Between your sessions, you give them this document that explains these characters or this kingdom or whatever it is that you want to talk about. And rather than kind of explaining everything on the spot and getting nervous, writing all this descriptive text out and trying to read it all with a fear of saying it wrong or messing up something or not making it clear enough, you have all this time to sit behind the screen, type up everything you want to say, read it once, twice, 10 times, whatever you need, proofread it, give it to someone else who isn't involved in the campaign, have them proofread it to check it out. You're able to send the message that you want to send to your players a lot easier when you have the opportunity to write everything out and explain things exactly how you want to explain it. And not only that, but I mean, if you want to have some sort of dramatic scene and have it go exactly how you want it, you can use this FLAIR. You know, they do say that if you wanted to railroad your campaign to write a novel, well, if you want something to be very railroady, some sort of information you want the characters to find out, why not put it in a FLAIR? Again, the player's going to be finding out, not the characters, but it gives you somewhere to start. It's a good outlet to kind of get the creative aspect as a writer of running the game out into these FLAIRs for your players. All right, back to the video. Or don't tell them what the FLAIR means at all, and just wait until the opportune moment comes up in game to tell them about it. Or just have that plan for a sequel FLAIR where, yeah, all this information we have now doesn't make any sense, but on the next FLAIR, now I see why these characters did this sort of thing or said this sort of thing. It's all making sense. Use the opportunity with these FLAIRs to be cryptic as hell. I love being cryptic. Most of these documents on this wall, when I first started, they had cryptic little meanings behind them. The miniatures on my shelf, I put them in a specific way to be cryptic. I put one mini specifically to another mini that means something that the party will figure out later on down the line. And these flares are another way that I use to do that. One of my players has a huge Microsoft Word document that she's made where she's kind of taken each flare and pulled the little piece of the little juice, what I like to call it, the piece of information out, and kind of a way to keep track of everything. And doing this has actually helped her a lot in the story. She's found out things that I left almost a year ago now that are just kind of coming into the light in our campaign. And this could be you too. Just start now. Start writing some flares. What I like to do is I like to wait until after we finish the session. The first thing I do is recap the session, type up a little recap. Then I put all my attention into the flare, and then I put all my attention into actually planning out the next session. It's fun. I enjoy writing these flares, and I use it to kind of push me forward. Like if I want to plan for the next session, I have to bunker down, write the recap, write the flare, and then I can get started with planning the session. It kind of tricks your mind in a way into keep constantly moving forward. I recommend you try it out. And you know what? I'm not a writer. I'm a nurse. I'm not sending these stories out to some publisher, some New York Times best-selling author. Don't worry about the flares being good. You're not sending them off to some publisher or editor who's going to beat you down. You're sending these to your friends who love hanging out with you, who love playing D&D with you. They're going to love reading these flares, and they're going to clamor up all over them. Trust me. As you probably could imagine, in my world, Indorel, Syndicate has a major part to play in the things that are going on. And some of my flares do talk about him and the background surrounding Syndicate and sort of the tragic story of what he used to be and what he's now become has been discovered in the flares. I often tell them that Syndicate sees himself as the hero in his own story, but that's a story for another day.
So this guide is attempting to help these poor adventurers through my Ethereum yet again. You think these flares will help you in stopping me, learning about me? You're wrong. Please divulge this information and see if it's going to help you. You have no idea what I am. You have no idea what I'm capable of. Your guide may protect you for now, but soon I will figure out a way to get to you. And once I have you... You have no choice but to obey my every command. You will join the ranks of my armies. Enjoy your free will while you have it now, adventurer. For soon, you will be mine. And for any dungeon master out there willing to take these tips from this guide and write flares of your own, do not talk about me. Do not talk about your villains. Talk about how weak-willed your heroes are and how you will crush them. This guide forgets the fact that he's taken a crystal from my bowl. Be sure to come back the next time he pays you a visit. I have something quite special in store for this one.
If those of you would like an example of a flare, be sure to check in the description box down below where I'll provide you a link where you can see the flare that I wrote specifically for the new campaign that I'm running on YouTube, Red Blood on the White Tree. Those of you who haven't seen it, and you would like to watch me running a game in action with Andrew from Dawnforge Cast, Hark from Angel Arts, Shay from Shay Gaming, and my good friend Brennan, who is a player in my campaign that's going on for almost 2 years now. Be sure to click on this card right here so you can jump right into those sessions. For those of you that are going to employ these flares and start to use them in your games, be sure to let me know in the comments section down below. If there's another topic you'd like to see me cover as well, please let me know in the comments below and I'll try to get to that video for you as soon as I can. A bonus tip for the flares, if you want to kind of nestle in on that immersion and get the full effect is what I like to call it, find a song as you're thinking about your flare, coming up at what you want to talk about and how you're going to word everything. Start listening to different music to kind of help inspire you. And when you find a song that really kind of sings to you, I guess if that's how you want to call it, listen to it on repeat while you're writing this flare out. And then when you send the flare to your players, send them that song to listen to as they're reading it so you can kind of get immersed in the story and immersed in what's going on. It's just that little piece of oomph that's just going to add to your story and just add to the lore of your game as well. I hope that this video has inspired you to take on a new approach to your game, to add lore to your world in ways you didn't think possible, add story to your game that you didn't think possible. Most of my NPCs, most of my bad guys, places, kingdoms, I've come to learn by actually writing the flare. Actually sitting down, thinking about it, and writing these out opens up your world and your story to all these different possibilities that you didn't know were there until you actually decided to start looking.
Until we meet again, Dungeon Master, I look forward to it.
Until next time, guys, I'll see you in the Ethereum. Take care. Peace.